What's up, everybody? Welcome back to more Heroes of the Storm on Khaldor TV. We have now the series between Fnatic and Virtus Pro, and we are of course again in the quarterfinal of the Enter the Storm finals. It's the last quarterfinal match here in the winners bracket, and one of these two teams will advance to meet Alternate Fancy. And well, let's jump right into it. We have Cursed Hollow, and compositions here are quite exciting. We have a full stun setup on the side of Fnatic, running this with Muradin and Nuburak, with the Kelthas for Gravity Lapse and Uther for additional stuns. And as the last pick, they went into Tyrande. Not 100% certain if Tyrande was really needed here, because the one thing that, well, they have a lot of stuns now, of course, but still, the problem that they are going to face, at least in the later stages of the game, is that on the side of Virtus Pro, we are not only seeing a Reina that, of course, always gets stronger throughout the game, since he's oftentimes relying on Seasoned Marksman on level 1, but it's also a Zeratul. So there's quite a few squishy targets on the side of Fnatic now as well for Virtus Pro, but the early game, that should definitely end up in the hands of Fnatic in this case. So Virtus Pro with a lot of aggressive heroes here as well. They have an Arthas to run with this too, and as their healer they decide to go into Malfurion. That of course can help with even additional lockdown thanks to the entangling roots, especially when, for example, Arthas set up a Howling Blast there. So game number 1 in the best of 3 series. One of these two teams will face Alternate Fancy in the next round, and we're going to find out together which team that is, but we're starting things off with our first map on Cursed Hollow. The first game in the last series in the quarterfinals of the Enter the Storm tournament. We are in the winner bracket, and we have Virtus Pro going up against Fnatic, a best of 3 series, and it's the last one of the day. Cursed Hollow is our starting map, and to the left side we have Virtus Pro, the Russian team, with BKB on Arthas. We have Sefkaja on Zeratul, Andilendi on Reina, and Kunichan playing Leoric with Unstable on Malfurion for the heals. To the right side of the map, it is Fnatic, and Fnatic is playing this with Breeze on Muradin, Lowell on Nuburak, Wooby on Uther, we have Kesel on Tyrande, and Mene on Kelthas. It's actually kind of fun to see how they are switching roles here, because normally these days it is actually Mene that is playing the healer position, and he is especially good on Uther, which they secured early on in the game again. But Mene is also by far their best Kelthas player, and this is why he's currently playing Kelthas here. Mene has been switching roles a lot. At the beginning, when he joined Fnatic, he was actually on the assassin role, but then switched into supports a little bit later when they are really in need of a support player, when Ace of Spades left the team. So right now he is fulfilling that role, and we are having him still every now and then switching back to assassins depending on the needs of the team. A pretty fun game actually that we're seeing here with the setups and those particular combos that we're seeing in this one. So for now we are also having Seasoned Marksman on Reina. This is of course where Andilendi is going to get most of his damage in later on during the game. Looking up at the top lane, that's where Lowell is currently trying to play this with BKB. Like, the two tanks are going up against each other, and it's just like traps everywhere on the map. Nobody is doing anything. It's like a staring contest. The first one to blink is gonna lose, but for now it looks like, yeah, they're moving in to at least push this back a bit. The dangerous part here for Virtus Pro is that every single hero on the side of Fnatic has a stun. Muradin with a Storm Bolt, Tyrande can use the Lunar Blaze, Lunar Flare here. So we're having a lot of potential snipes thanks to Fnatic's lineup. And this is something that they really have to use. They have to use that early on in the game. Tyrande was one of those picks that they didn't really have to go for. They had other opportunities. They could have gone into a Carrigan, they could have gone into a Nazebo to make sure that they also don't give Zeratul as many targets later on in the game. But they decided to play this with a super aggressive setup that can do so much damage here. Tyrande, by the way, going on level 1 even for Empower, so it looks more and more like we're going to see her with an Owl build completely committing to this. There's of course also the opportunity to go into a Seasoned Marksman build with the Searing Arrows on level 4 for Tyrande if you are feeling that you do not have enough damage on general. But in this case, they're going to play this with an Owl build, which is even going to allow them to cancel tribute channels. So they will not only be able to scout what's happening on the map, thanks to like the Owl traveling through one of the boss camps, but also going to cancel out some tribute channels, which is going to be pretty interesting. Top lane kill against the Nuburak, and that's unfortunate. That's a lot of experience lost already. Apparently BKB and Sefka were able to get this kill secured, at least for now. When we're looking at the builds, we have also Zeratul not committing to a Seasoned Marksman, but instead it's Regeneration Master for him and also for good old Arthurs. So Arthurs and him both relying on this. Focus attack still level 4 for both of the heroes. And now with Pierce taken on level 4, we're seeing Tyrande, of course, with the opportunity to hit even a few more targets during these fights. As mentioned before, Tyrande is a bit of a gamble that they have. It's really great to have that extra stun in there, and also, of course, the threat to a hero. But she's also one of the squishies that doesn't really have a lot of options in the later stages of the game to escape, and Sevka is going to try and focus her down whenever he can. Same goes, of course, for Kel'Thuz, but Kel'Thuz is at least able to rely on the Arcane Barrier later on. Nice lockdown against Zeratul, and a great kill. That's exactly what they need to do. Dominate the early game, get the kills, get the tributes, and take it from there. If they lose momentum in the game, on the other hand, then it's going to become a bit more difficult for them, since especially Kel'Thuz, but more so Tyrande, is going to be in a position where well, they're going to be taken out pretty easily. Andilendi will have a lot of damage on his auto attacks later on in the game, once that he's able to get the season marksman stacks going. And then we're also going to have, of course, a lot of damage on Zeratul as well. Second kill against Leoric. Leoric is going to be back in just a few seconds, but it's of course a bit of experience that really matters here. Sevka moves in for extra damage, but so far both of the teams just playing the style that you would expect there. Virtus Pro a little bit safer than Fnatic so far, not as far out on the map, but still in positions where they are trying to sneak in kills with Zeratul, locking somebody down. We're having at the bot lane Andilendi trying to just like soak as much as he possibly can, making sure that he's getting his stacks ready for the later stages of the game. And Breeze over here was already scouted out by Unstable, so Virtus Pro keeping one of the healers over there in the bush, just making sure that he knows exactly what's happening from up there, that nobody can surprise Andilendi and take him down. Keeping Andilendi alive is going to be important. The longer he's alive, the more stacks he's going to gather. That's the important part. Zeratul is currently trying to even sneak those camps away, or those watchtowers. At the top lane we have still Arthurs and Lowell on Nuburak going up against each other. With level 7 now, there's also the Lunar Blaze talent. Fission Bomb, of course, starting with that Chain Bomb build that Kel'Thuz is going to, well, is bound to be using. And we have Clairvoyance taken over Cleanse. Cleanse is not really a talent that you need anymore. It's a talent that can be great, but it's not something that is just a must pick in any kind of composition. And having Clairvoyance helps you to find out when your opponent is going to try and take these bosses, and that can be absolutely invaluable. Unstoppable here already as Unstable is moving in. Whoopee! Oh my god! Like, he got pushed away in the last second. Great kill, and Andilendi is most likely going to fall here too. Wow, 2 for 0, great kills here for them, and they might even get Unstable. Whoopi, by all rights, should have died. I mean, that was insane, but now with the entire lockdown series that they have here, they secure themselves another kill, and it's now 5 versus 1 kill. So great start here for Fnatic. They needed to do well in the early game, and thus far they've been doing exactly that. They have 2 tributes secured. Next tribute is going to curse Virtus Pro. So Fnatic with a solid performance so far in the game. We have Lowell up at the top lane taking position again for the heartbeat. Already a set of heroes to the right side claiming the Siege Giant camp. Kessel and Breeze are going to take care of this one. And with that slight lead in experience, they should hit level 10 a bit faster. But it's not really a massive lead just yet. Sevka with a bit of damage against Lowell. He can't get too much in there. But this is of course now the important part, the tribute up at the top, and Fnatic can now choose what they're going to do. Either they're pushing, trying to secure level 10 first, or they're simply saying, hey, we're going to fight for this one. We can take it. No heroic abilities, yeah, our chain stun locks are great, we're going to go for it and going to stun out our opponents. And well, with this kill, they're going to get an easy tribute now. And this just showcased how much damage, or just how dangerous this lockdown combo is that they have here. The curse early on against Virtus Pro, down to the bot lane, a Siege Giant camp already pushing, and again the pressure against Andilendi. At the top lane, more towers taken out, the teams hit level 10 at the same time. We have Divine Shield, there's Kukuno used on the side of Lowell, and against Tranquility, that's a great talent to have. The lockdown against Tyrande, we've been talking about it, that's the danger, but Cocoon in play, stun against Malfurion, but I do not think that Kessel is going to be able to survive this one. Or is he now? Well, nice Starfall, but the root is too strong. Thanks to Loon's Grace on level 4, Unstable is able to get the extra casting range so that he can lock her down. Good kill. And that is going to be the fate of Tyrande in this game over and over again. I mean, if Virtus Pro, if they get their will, then Tyrande is not going to have a fun game here in the later stages. So the rest of the Fnatic setup have to make sure that they are able to protect her. Level 11 versus level 11. 6 kills versus 2. A few of the structures taken out. The early curse doing some work, but of course not able to do too much here. Nice attempt by Lowell to dodge, but Root into, or Howling Blast into Root. So Lowell could actually die to this, but Breeze moves in and stuns them out. Creates some space for Lowell to get away, and Kesel is already helping out with a few heals here. Doesn't have the overflowing light yet, but still. Nice stun against Andy Landy, but Wooby is now in the range of the Hyperion, and Sevka was jumping in too. So that's quite a bit of damage against the structures here, and Virtus Pro is completely unimpressed by those early kills that Fnatic was able to secure. Because let's face it, they knew from the start that they would lose a few heroes, right? They knew that from the start. I mean, if you're going up against such a composition as Fnatic is running right now, you know that you are going to lose some heroes. But it doesn't matter too much for them right now. Because at this point, they are actually doing quite well. Hyperion, March of the Black King, they are roaming the map. They are on level 12 as is their opponents. And with Hyperion, they can secure some damage against these structures. We have Virtus Pro now moving in again. And over here, Kesel, Breeze trying to take one of the camps, but already locked down attempt. Howling Blast is missing though, and now Fnatic is trying to fight. They are facing the music now, but a great VP. Void Prison used. Lowell reluctant to jump in. No need for him to do that just yet, but they still want to go for the fight. And good lockdown here from Tyrande. We're still seeing Phoenix used, but everybody on the side of Virtus Pro moves away, and Malfurion zones them out with the healing. Malfurion, when it comes to the healing in general, zoned them out with the root, of course. When it comes to healing, Malfurion, not really the best hero necessarily. I mean, you can of course adjust the build a bit, but if you are forced to go into cleanse and then later on a potential ice block, then you're not getting as much heal out as other healers. The cool thing about him though is really that he adds a lot more than that. In the early stages of the game, you have Innervate so that you can use the mana to give it to heroes that really need it. I mean, in this case, you can give the mana over to somebody like Zeratul to keep him in lane a little bit longer. Also to Arthas, you have the opportunity to use Root, and that Root already secured a kill earlier against Tyrande. And also we've seen it as a great tool for disengage on this map in particular, and the Moonfire spam on this map can of course always interrupt tribute channels. So there's a few things that he really brings to the table beside Tranquility, which is of course his biggest asset. Up at the top lane, well, we have the attack against Lowell, has to use Cocoon here. And for now, at least, Virtus Pro moves back. Level 13 for both of the teams, and Kesel gets a free tribute down to the bot lane. Reyna taken out, by the way. So yeah, Reyna down, and well, with that kill, 7 kills against 2 now overall. The level 13 Talons with an overflowing light. Chain Bomb, of course, is going to round that Fission Bomb approach up that we've seen from Kel'Thas. We're also seeing a bit more damage thanks to the Thunder Striker level 13 and the Burning Rage. And when we're talking about Virtus Pro, who are by the way going very deep for a kill on Lowell here, and we're seeing them now with the Giant Killer. Yeah, they secure that kill. Everybody committing to it. They're trying to take down a fort and therefore equalize the score on forts for now. But yeah, we have now also the Crushing Hope taken. This one is going to fall, and with a surplus of heroes on the map, they are also moving in against the boss now. And there's Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance used, as mentioned before, by Wooby, and they're really trying to go for this. They're trying to lock down Zeratul and snipe him away, and he's barely able to stay alive. Oh my god, Tranquility saved his ass for a second, but then he gets an owl to the face, and down goes Zeratul. Well played there, and the boss for now is still on the map. Fnatic able to claim, well, not claim the boss, but at least they're able to deny it to Virtus Pro, and now Nubarok is back. And another owl hitting unstable here. They are moving in, they want that tribute, and they want Reyna too. On top of that, they're jumping in deep. Breeze actually is attempting to lock him down once more. So many stuns, but all in cooldown. And as Uther gets his own stun into play again, they are claiming this kill. Lowell already going straight for the watchtower here. They have now also the tribute taken. That was tribute number 2. And with just another... So, from 5 tributes that spawn on the map, they secured themselves 5. But we still have them on even level when it comes to experience. Up at the top lane, Kesel currently in position and trying to defend against those 2 siege giants here. More camps taken on the map right now. They're already moving in. But yeah, this is actually starting to be... This is an interesting game just because we have a very sniper-heavy setup for Team Fnatic, but at the same time, Virtus Pro is really able to play against it with what they have on the map right now. 15 versus 15. If they're able to sneak that boss, that would be great. And again, Clairvoyance, a great talent to take here. Oftentimes Cleanse is used and it's still one of the standard talents, but in this setup we'll be just saying no, vision is what we need, and it helps them really to just determine where their opponents are. So they get that boss, or they know that the boss is taken. Virtus Pro still gets it. It was a bit too late to rotate, but Fnatic knows that they can commit to the boss up at the top lane, and that's exactly what they're doing. So now both of the teams are going to have a boss pushing in just a second, and with that tribute spawning, the team that gets the tribute, well, if Fnatic gets the tribute, they're going to get a curse here, but Divine Shield had to be used by Wooby, and they are hitting level 16 in just a second. Void Prism being used, Hyperion is moving in, chain bombs everywhere though, the March of the Black King after the setup, great damage here, and Kel'Thas is dead, Wooby falling as well, a double kill for Virtus Pro, Tranquility keeping them alive, and now they are the ones trying to rush in and get even another kill. Kasil nearly dying, but Sefka was stopped by Breeze's Stormbolt. Level 16 for both of the teams now. Look at Zeratul. Zeratul actually in the last fight also using Stone Skin here, not even going for double bombs or anything like that, because he just says, hey, they have so much stun, I need to use something to stay alive. And I think it's a great adjustment that he makes here. I feel without this, he would be in even more trouble. Arcane Barrier now being used, the Ranger talent is going to help Tyrande to get even more damage out. We're having Bullseye taken for the extra stun for 1.5 seconds on the side of Reyno. And also the reduction on the cooldown with the Unyielding Despair. And as if it wasn't bad enough, we have Tenacious Roots now for Malfurion for additional lockdown. The boss already claimed. By now Andilendi, by the way, is looking at his stacks at 20. Not really too much. 14 minutes into the game, you would expect him to have a few more, but it was a pretty stressful game. I mean, for him, it's really dangerous going up against all these talents that we're seeing right now. When it comes to damage in general, we have him still at 19,000, which is pretty solid. The one hero that is currently leading the charts here is, who would have thought, Kel'Thas with its chain bombs, and then another 20,000 on Tyrande, just showing that that Ranger build can do quite a bit of damage. It's very sporadic damage though. It's like really not damage that is necessarily applied in a team fight against a single target, but oftentimes damage that's just like, if you hit, for example, a hero that is channeling a tribute, you get a bit of damage and he gets healed again and is then fine again. So yeah, it's not really that single target damage that we see from an auto-attack hero like, let's say, Vala, for example, or Reyna in this case. The teams are going for the tribute, and this is once again an opportunity for Fnatic to get the next curse up. They're starting to rotate here. The mid lane is, by the way, heavily attacked by the Bruiser camp, and Leoric is also in the vicinity. Once again, here comes another quick owl, and with Clairvoyance, they see where exactly Virtus Pro is positioned. They're starting to take position around the tribute again, trying to move for it, but Kuni-chan can use his own spells now, and he does, to cancel that out again. BKB with a lockdown, and they are starting to commit here. Breeze is moving in as well. Great Void Prison! Breeze with a Divine Shield. Nice use here. Will be doing very well, but once again the Hyperion Tranquility being used. Kel'Thas is dead again, and now BKB is falling. It's a trade 1-for-1. Zeratul is low, but he is trying to move around and maybe get a kill against Kasil here. He's starting to move in, jumps in, goes up against Wooby, puts a Singularity Spike on top of Uther, but he has to move away for now. Breeze, Kasil and Wooby are moving back. They leave the tribute for now, and it is Virtus Pro with the lead in experience. So 10 kills against 6. And still Virtus Pro, the team that is able to secure themselves a lead in EXP and also a great position on the map. Now the next tribute is going to be a cursed tribute no matter which team takes it. So we have a solid position here for Virtus Pro still, and Sefka is doing quite well with that Stone Skin that he used. I mean, that was really a talent that he needed to pick up, because with all those stuns that are coming out of Fnatic, you need to have something that keeps you alive a bit longer so that you can blink out again or use Wormhole. Camps on the map, they're not too many, so that Siege Giant camp that Fnatic is taking right now is basically the only one that it can really claim. Kel'Thas moved to the top lane to de-push that and make sure that these two Siege Giants are not doing too much work against those two structures. Well, they're trying to lock down Leoric, but, well, they don't really get that done. Nice Owl, though, hitting Kuni-chan again, and he's rather low. Unstable couldn't take anything like Enduring Growth or Life Seed, so in this case it's mostly, first of all, of course, his normal heals, but also Tranquility that his team is relying upon. Mid lane is being pressured again. Fnatic needs to make something happen so that they don't hit level 20 after Virtus Pro. They're trying to, at least. And the great tribute position for them. Tribute up at the top lane, and that really helps them to take position here a bit faster. And there is just no way for Virtus Pro to let this one go. They have to fight for it. And they do not have Clairvoyance. Already an outer perimeter set by Fnatic, and they're trying to channel it. Kuni-chan is about to move in. Kasil is trying to get the tribute. Unstable with a Moonfire, and, well, in this case, case, Divine Shield hits too late. Uh-oh, that was a blunder. A second too late, and now it's gone. That heroic ability is in cooldown, and now they're in trouble because they cannot rely on it anymore. So this could be the curse against them. Just a second too late, the Divine Shield. It just hit after we saw the Moonfire happen, and now with the Void Prison, they secure themselves the Tribute, and that's a curse against Fnatic. Fnatic wants to fight. They still want to fight here. They want to move in. They already used the Owl. They're going straight in. Breeze locks down Arthas. They're going for Sefka. Sefka blinking away. Oh, the bomb is doing damage and also applied to Unstable now. Once more, they're trying to rush away here. There's still a camp that they could take, but what Fnatic is trying to do is to buy themselves some time. Leoric, on the other hand, he didn't care. He pushed out the top lane and is now moving back again, but these waves are moving in, and Fnatic is desperately going for the boss. They're trying to make something happen, so they are not going to lose out on experience. They know that once level 20 is hit, they are in trouble, but we see already Virtus Pro moving over. The problem for them is they have two heroes at the bot lane that they can't use to really push in here. And also, Void Prism is gone, so they get the boss. Fnatic gets the boss just before level 20, exactly what they need to do here. And they're also trying to kill now Leoric, and they are going to, yeah, they should get him. They should really get him here. Cool, yeah, he's low, so they get the kill against him too. Level 20 hit for Virtus Pro though, and they are about to claim 2 of the forts. So it's a double hardened shield. We're also seeing a rewind, and for, I guess, Nexus Frenzy is probably going to be the talent that we are seeing for Reyna here. Top lane, fort or keep has been saved. Nexus Frenzy, and now both of them are on 20. That boss was a bit of a risky move, but it was totally worth it. If they don't get the boss, then Virtus Pro gets both once they hit level 20. So in this case, the Fnatic has been doing a really solid move here. We have, by the way, in terms of like extra damage on Reyna now 22. It's really not a whole lot. Like 5 minutes ago he was on 20 and now he's on 23. That's like nothing. He was really not... Oh, he's getting sniped again, isn't he? They had to go into these battles over and over again. Already the Void Prison used, but we have Hyperion and Starfall plus Phoenix in play, and Tyrande is down again. Mena was saved and he's trying to move in again, but BKB and Kunichan are hunting him down. Arcane Barrier used. Whoopi low and dead. Well, he's gonna come back from the dead, but Lol and Breeze, they won't if they die. Lol is already blown to pieces, and now they're going in for the kills again. Breeze, Whoopi, and Mena, the only ones that are still alive, and they are rushing away, but they're trying to get the kill against Reyna still. Well, nice damage, at least for now. When you're looking at the bombs, they are doing a whole bunch of work, but still, it's a 5 versus 3. The boss down here is still something that they can claim. The problem, of course, that Virtus Pro is facing now is that they're all extremely low. And Whoopi and the rest of the team, they are still thinking about committing to this. Well, they're at least trying to buy themselves some time. As long as they don't die, it's fine. But the problem is, if they get locked down, then they are in trouble. Good double stun here. Breeze low again. Mena moving in, but the kill against Uther, and this time he is dead for good. This time he is definitely dead for good. Bombs everywhere. Phoenix played again, but Mena gets taken out. They lose Kel'Thas, and this is the time for Virtus Pro to shine. As already predicted during the draft, Tyrande is a big problem that they have right now. It's a lot of damage that is applied by Virtus Pro. They are pushing them back. The early game went in favor of Fnatic. They get their kills in, but it's 11 kills against 11, and especially Sefka and Zeratul can always sneak into the backline and do a bit more damage, and it is a liability. They have Kel'Thas and also Tyrande to really take care of, and they just lack that range damage that helps them to poke in these encounters. With an Azebo or even a Karrigan, they can commit even more to it, or could have done a bit more, but that Tyrande pick is risky. It worked in the early game, but now in the late game she is starting to become a bit of a liability, especially with Reyna doing a lot of work. He is far from the damage, by the way, that he could have put out on the map now. He doesn't really have the seasoned marksman stacks that you would normally expect at this time, but still he is able to do the damage. I mean, he's at 48,000 damage already, and that is quite something. If you're comparing this to Kel'Thas, he has 65,000, which is solid. But Tyrande with a 45,000, it's a bit misleading to really look at that damage number, because the Owl contributes a lot to this, and a lot of that damage is very erratic and not really applied in the scenarios where you would expect it. So now the keep is being pushed at the bot lane, and that is where Fnatic has to make a bit of a stand, and they are trying here, but their boss is already starting to eliminate the keep, and now they can move back. Siege Giants as well in a great position, and it looks really like they are trying to commit to this. The boss is on half health, there's the Hyperion being used, and there's starting to move in. Already the Void Prison in play, and the core, they're just trying to go straight for the core, and they are going to claim victory here. This is going to be the kill. GG and Virtus Pro with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here at the quarterfinals of the Enter the Storm finals. Fnatic, they win the early game, but they lose the map. They lose against Virtus Pro in the later stages. Zeratul and Reyna just too strong. Even though Reyna had a really tough time to get the stacking process going here, there was always the threat of being locked down by Fnatic, and in the early game that really worked for Fnatic here. They got their kills, they got quite a lot of those, but you could really tell that towards the end of the game, especially Tyrande and also Khaldor were hard, like they were really pressured. It was very difficult for Fnatic to keep them alive, even with that Uther that could provide the Divine Shield. But if there's this much damage against the backline, then it's very tricky to really keep them alive, especially, of course, with all of the melee heroes that we saw on the side of Virtus Pro, just always going straight deep in, with Leoric using the Wraith Walk, Arthur's moving in with the Howling Blast there, and Tyrande and also Khaldor were running most of these fights. So at the end of the match, Fnatic, they lose map number 1, and now we are going into map number 2, and it's Fnatic's map choice. Dragonshire is the map that we're going to see next, and in this particular setup we have Virtus Pro relying heavily for damage on Zagara and also Jaina. Great heroes here that can of course help out with quite a bit of disengage thanks to Moore, but also that Blizzard that can be used by Jaina in this case. And we've seen a lot of variations, not only Water Elemental being used, but also the Ring of Frost these days. So there's a couple of different approaches that Virtus Pro can take towards this game. When we're looking at Fnatic, we have not only Johanna but also Arthur, so a very tanky front line here, and also a couple of heroes that can really lock a target down. And for damage, they're running this with a Nazebo for poke damage and also with Vala. So Fnatic, they have to win 2 in a row now if they want to advance through the winners bracket, and it's not going to be easy against such a good team. Virtus Pro, they are very eager to win it right now and take it with a 2-0 and advance to the winners bracket semi-final here at the End of the Storm. We're going to jump into the game right away to find out which team is going to take it here on Dragonshire. Game number 2, and potentially the last map in the best of 3 series between Virtus Pro and Fnatic. The Russian team to the left side is in the lead. Fnatic has to win 2 in a row now if they want to advance to the winner bracket semi-final. If they lose, they will drop into the losers bracket instead. For now we have to the left side though, Leoric played by BKB for Virtus Pro, Jaina played by Andilendi, Unstable again on Malfurion, with Kuni-chan on Anubarak and Sefkaja on Zagara. To the right side of the map, it's Breeze on Arthur, so we have Kaysil on Nazebo, Uther, this time played by Mena, Wubi on Vala, and Lowell on Johanna. Very solid, very standard setup here for Fnatic, and when we're looking at the setup that we are seeing for their opponents, it's also again double tank, double damage, and a single healer. So very traditional setups for both of the teams, with a commitment to an auto attack build thanks to the level 1 talent for Vala here. Immediately taken. Besides that, not really too many things to talk about in this case. I mean, once again, we can maybe mention that we have Jaina now with her going into deep chill. So it's not Conjurer's Pursuit, which we sometimes see if Jaina players want to go into the, the Snowstorm on level 4, which you can still do, by the way, but oftentimes Arcane Intellect is what really gives you the mana. In this case now, though, with the Malfurion in the early stages of the game, Andilendi shouldn't have too much trouble with mana, since there's Innervate to consider as well, and that's a pretty solid setup if you're running a Zagara with a Malfurion, a Jaina with a Malfurion. That is really worth quite a bit. So the heroes could decide to go into different talents here than if they were playing without a Malfurion. So for now we have in the mid lane Lowell positioned against Kuni-chan. Up at the top it's Sefkaja against Kaysil, and to the bot lane it's, well, not really a tri-lane, but it's Malfurion trying to hold the shrine, and 2 more heroes rotating from the bot to the mid, and Breeze is caught off guard and also dead. So an early kill against Breeze. Lowell could do very little to prevent that. We have himself now on Knight takes pawn down to the bot lane. That of course opens up an opportunity for Wubi to take that shrine for a second, but there's still that surplus of heroes on the map, or at least in the middle. for Virtus Pro, and that allows them to go straight in again. Lendi and Unstable are claiming back the Shrine up to the top lane. Sefka is playing solo against Kesel and now Arthurs, who rotated over too. And he tries to get into the range of Sefka. The problem is that Kuni-chan rotated up to the top as well, and now, yeah, very nice wall of zombies to zone for Breeze. I really like that. This was a pretty cool one. This just made sure that Breeze could get away if he really wanted to, if they would try to lock him down completely. Snowstorm has been taken as the level 4 talent on the side of Jaina now, so no mana issues for her at this point. We're seeing again Elune's Grace for Malfurion for the extra range, and as it is becoming very popular, Locust Needles taken on level 4. In the mid lane, now that both of the shrines are under the control of Fnatic, we saw a bit of a scuffle happening, but of course just like trying to buy some time. Lendi and BKB were pushing Lowell back. And in general, that setup between Leoric against Johanna is usually one that Leoric is able to win quite comfortably. Or at least he's not going to lose too much ground against Johanna here. Thanks to Drain Hope, it's really one of these things that Johanna can't really escape, and it's just super annoying. Again, the Shrine claimed down to the bot lane. Mena and Wubi are so far doing a decent job there. Up to the top, Sefka is pushing Kesel back as much as he can. And of course, there are very few heroes that are able to win against a good Zagara player. And Sefka is just showcasing exactly that. When it comes to the bot lane though, Kuni-chan has now suddenly to deal with two heroes. Wuba and Mena are still there. We're having also level 6 versus level 6. There comes the commitment to Eternal Retaliation. That's gonna be fun. Oh, they go for Breeze and they get him again. Breeze on Arthurs dies for the second time. Well, with Retaliation now taken on level 4, if they go for also Battle Momentum, then he's gonna get those condemns out like every second or two. So that would be super, super scary in big team fights. But of course, if he does not, he could go for Conviction as well. So there's quite a few things that you can do with a setup like this, but you give up Laws of Hope with the extra self-sustain that you do not have in this case. Ghostly Reach again, it's one of the most popular talents on Leoric these days. Very, very strong, with also Frostbitten taken on level 7 now. We have the Bed of Barbs and a lockdown attempt, this time against Malfurion, but Lendi is already there to help the old geezer and nearly takes down Arthurs. Well played here. Lendi, of course, with a bit of damage himself, but yeah, Kuni-chan is just a second too late. Lockdown Breeze here and doing enough work, but they're still fighting for that shrine down here. It's a 4 versus 4 as Lowell starts to move in too, but now both of the shrines are suddenly under the control of Virtus Pro, and they still have an extra talent. They're an entire level ahead already. Virtus Pro is in a great position here at this point. The top lane is still being pushed, and Arthurs is very alone again and dies. Like, he's isolated from the rest of the team. Sefka is pushing Kesel back, and Kesel is struggling at this point. He's really trying, but those two towers are out of ammunition already. Both of the shrines are under the control of Virtus Pro, pushing Fnatic back even more. 3 kills against 0. The Toad build for Kesel, and the towers are losing hit point after hit point. In the mid lane, BKB is about to take the Dragon Knight. Lendi was zoning for him and keeping Lowell at bay. Great play here from Virtus Pro. They are a level ahead already, and they are playing a great game. He goes through the wall. The towers were already down. One of the reasons, actually, why we saw them ahead in the game. And a kill against Zagara up at the top lane. Just came in the last second. But the counter kill against Nazeebo. Lendi taking over the XP up here. And also making sure that Fnatic is not gonna get that kill for nothing. So with those towers already out of ammunition and BKB pushing in, he's gonna get at least 1 more tower, maybe even 2, and he's also creating space for the rest of the team. We see a Nuburak at the bot lane against Mena, and again, both of the towers pressured back. Fnatic is really starting to struggle here. They are in trouble, especially as now level 10 has been hit by their opponents. The wall up at the top lane is destroyed. March of the Black King, more Water Elemental, Tranquility, and Locust Swarm doesn't even bother to go into Cocoon, and why would he? Mena is not going to be able to save anything. There's no melee assassin here, so it's not like they have to lock down Uther to make sure that they can get a kill on a Kerrigan or an Illidan. Instead, they're just moving in at the bot lane right now. We have up at the top Zagara again, and it's a 2-level lead right now for Virtus Pro. Fnatic, they really have to man up at this point. They need to make something happen, because if they lose this map, then it is, at least in the winner bracket, over for them. Then they will drop to the losers bracket. and so far it doesn't look good. There's still the pressure play from Virtus Pro because Fnatic have to wait. They have to wait for level 10. They can't do anything before that happens, and they are going to hit that soon. But they're losing just structure after structure in the meantime. Arthas is trying to take one of the Bruiser camps to at least help them out a bit up at the top lane. And there's already damage against the well. We have level 10 now finally hit, and at the same time as we're seeing those heroics coming into play, we're now seeing, of course, Virtus Pro moving in again. Without Cocoon, Ravenous Spirit is the weapon of choice for Nazeebo. Cocoon would have been a great counterplay against that, but they decided not to use it, so Ravenous Spirit might be exactly what Fnatic needs here. They're also having a strafe. That's a lot of AoE damage that they can use in these fights. The 2-level lead for Virtus Pro is annoying, but maybe Fnatic can make a play happen here. They have some really nice talents to lock the opponent down. And they could use the Blessed Shield for good initiation, follow with the Ravenous Spirit, and get the strafe in as well. With all that damage, that is exactly what they would need to get a kill or two. And if they can drop Zagara, for example, early on in the fight, so even getting a kill against Jaina, that would be amazing for them. So we have them rotating over the map again. There's always a creep that they have to try and push back to. Punish used by Lowell, and Breeze is going to have to use his aura to make sure that they can push this back even further. The level 13 talent is threatening all of a sudden. Ah, well, Kuni-chan, nice move there. Using his shield as well, but of course trying to just get away and not even end up in a position where he's getting locked down. Kesel, on the other hand, oh, they slow him with a water elemental and he just can't run. They are willing to dive deep for the kill, and they get it, and now they have level 13 just by the time that those two shrines are up on the map. Wooby secures themselves a shrine to the bot lane, but he won't be able to hold that for long. They're seeing improved ice block. There's also the Burning Rage now for Anuburak with the Mutalisk for Zagara, and they're going up against Breeze again, and they get the lockdown. Lowell was trying to help him out with a shield glare, but there's just no helping this. This is level 13 versus level 11, 6 kills against 1, a fort in the mid lane getting destroyed. We're seeing Shrinkgrave for Malfurion, and this is just getting worse and worse for Fnatic. Fnatic, they need to stock experience, they need to do something. They are also going to start to lose the control down to the bot lane. Kuni-chan is going in against Wooby, and everybody is just attempting to make sure that he's going to die. Well, Divine Shield could save him for now. Strafe used, and the Divine Shield is zoning them out a bit, or at least thanks to Divine Shield, Strafe is zoning them. That makes more sense. Yeah, so he can't get interrupted, but still, we have now also the Crushing Hope, and this is of course going to be another Dragonite. The rotation that we are seeing from Virtus Pro is just a bit too strong. The only thing that still remains in terms of structures is up at the top lane, this fort here, and Unstable can take that down, or he can simply leave it to the minions. That's all that he needs to do. The bot lane is being pressured by Anuburak, and Leoric is there too, riding that coin. That doubloon, and with Sefka now starting to move in, this is of course going to be another wall that gets destroyed. It's a 3-level lead right now. We are 9 minutes in the game, 9 minutes into it, and 3 levels. That's the lead that we're seeing for Virtus Pro. Kuni-chan in the back, he can always jump in, use his burrow charge to just initiate from the backline where they don't even see him, but he was trying to bait an attack out a bit. BKB actually running straight into that wall of zombies, but in this case Sefka is going to go for keep. Of course, the Dragonite is not really all that strong. I mean, later on in the game, that Dragonite would have taken down the keep on his own, but the objectives scale over time, and in this case, it's a very early one. Blessed Shield used. Where is that Ravenous Spirit? Not used yet, but Kesel gets Maud. Kesel gets Maud, and this keep is gonna fall. I mean, how are you gonna save this? Kesel on the run, and he's down. The March of the Black King from BKB takes him apart. He didn't even get a chance to use his heroic ability. Breeze dies again, 8 kills against 1, and the keep is eliminated. And with level 16 versus level 12, Virtus Pro is just saying, thank you very much, we're going to take that. And they move for core. Fnatic gets slaughtered in game number 2. Wow. A 4-level lead, 2 talents ahead. They go for the core, they do not care. And Fnatic, well, they are killing an Uburak, but this is the end of the game. Virtus Pro takes it easy peasy with a 3-level lead in the end. A 2-0 victory for Virtus Pro against Fnatic here at the end of the storm. Wow, Fnatic gets slaughtered on the second map. Virtus Pro, they take it with a 2-0, and the last game was brutal. At some point, Virtus Pro was 4 level ahead and 2 talents ahead of Fnatic. So absolute brutal series from the point of view of Fnatic, and Virtus Pro just showing how strong they are. They advance in the winner bracket. They find themselves now in the winner bracket semi-final where they go up against Alternate Fancy. And that was definitely, well, that was a result that Fnatic probably didn't expect like this. They are now in the loser bracket and they still have a chance to win the tournament and advance there, but of course they really have to step it up a notch. Virtus Pro, on the other hand, they are quite happy. They didn't even drop a single map against their opponent, so we're going to see them in the winner bracket semi-final. Hope that you guys enjoyed the game there, at least a little bit more than Fnatic, because, well, they weren't happy about this one, I can tell you that much. So we are going into our next game pretty soon here on the channel. If you enjoyed the commentary today and also the games, then don't forget to give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. And guys, once again, if you have any questions, just post them in the video, in the comment section. I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm action here on the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in today. It was a pleasure casting for you. I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm action here on Khaldor TV. See you guys soon. Bye bye.